Good morning, students. Today's topic is gender equality and equity. What is the gender equality and equity is known. If gender equality is the end, gender equity is the means. Gender equality does not mean that women and men will become the same, but that women's and men's rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female. Gender equity means fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. This may include equal treatment or treatment that is different, but which is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. That is the gender equality and equity. And next is objectives. Objectives are women and men defined and characterize equally the social life in its political, economic, cultural, and social facts. Women and men have equal rights and self determination in all aspects and stages of their lives. Women and men earn their own livelihood and property, proof pension based on good education and training, equal pay, and equal access to the labor market. Women and men share equally in household work and family care, child education, and care while maintaining their independent living. This is the objectives of this topic. And next, equity. First of all, we know equity and equality. Equity and equality, meaning of equity. First of all, equity is about giving people what they need in order to make things fair, giving more to those who need it. This is called equity. And next, the equality. What is the meaning of equality? Equality, the Equality and Human Rights Commission describe equality as ensuring that every individual has an equal opportunity to make the most of their lives and talents. This is called equality. In these equity and equality, in these pictures show like the equality and equity. First picture show equality. In this picture, it is being shown that the people who are there are of different types, but the cycle which have been given to them are the same. And after that, in the second picture, we are seeing that people here are also different. There are types, and the cycle is given according to their requirement. You are doing this one according to their requirement, and next is there in the quality And the other picture is shows equity. In these pictures are also showing that. And next is also example of equality and equity. In these pictures also given the same size of stools, and the people are different types. Equality means given equal types of same thing. And the next equity. So the other these pictures show equity in the different types of people, and the equality is given equal types of people in these pictures. And the next picture, in this picture, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb the tree. The instructor says all the animals climb that tree. But all the animals in this picture are of different types. And they have been given that they have to climb the tree. Not every animal can climb the tree. So it is not right to have this competition, because according to the need of each animal we have to keep competition. Therefore, such competitions are not considered fair in equality and equity. So these pictures show the equality and equity. And next is the topic is gender equality. Gender equality, what is the gender equality? Gender equality refers to the equal rights, responsibility, and opportunities of women and men and girls and boys. Equality does not mean that women and men will become the same, but that women's and men's rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female. And next is the what gender equality. The given rights, all equal rights given to gender equality. And this is the first in this picture. First right is an adequate standard of living. What does the human right to educate housing mean? While the majority of the world living in some form of dwelling, around half the world's population does not enjoy all the entitlements necessary for housing to be considered adequate. It has been well established in international human rights law and its interpretation that housing is not just a physical structure of four roofs and a wall. It is a much broader concept which encompasses various material and non-material elements of education, which are necessary to create a safe and secure place to live. Furthermore, adequate housing is not merely a desired goal. It is a basic human right of all human beings. This has been affirmed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, which recognized the right to adequate housing as an integral component of the human right to an adequate standard of living. And next right is food and nutrition. This right also given equal right of people. What right? Right to food and nutrition. What is the right to food and nutrition? This human right may be defined as the right alone or in community with others to be free from hunger and malnutrition, to have physical and economic access at all times to educate food in quality and equity, that is nutritious and culturally acceptable, or means for its procurement in a sustainable and dignified manner, while ensuring the highest level of physical, emotional, and intellectual development. This is the right of food and nutrition. And food or nutrition rights, that is the this rights is also given to all peoples equally, and equally the rights of next rights is right to healthy life. It means the right to health. As human beings, our health and the health of those we care about is a matter of daily concern, regardless of our age, gender, social, economic, or ethnic background. We consider our health to be our most basic and essential asset. Our health, on the other hand, can keep us from going to school or to work, from attending to our family responsibilities, or from participating fully in the activities of our community. By the same token, we are willing to make many sacrifices if only that would guarantee us and our family a longer and healthier life. In short, when we talk about well-being, health is often that we have in mind the right of health is a fundamental part of our human rights and our understanding of a life in dignity. The right to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health, to give it its full name, is not new. Internationally, it was first articulated in the 1946 Constitution of the World Health Organization, WHO, whose preamble defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The preamble further state that the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being without distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic, or social condition. In 1948, Universal Declaration of Human Rights also mentioned health as part of the right to an adequate standard of living. The right to health was again recognized as a human right in the 1966 International Convention on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. And the next right is right to education, protection for the child. In this right, free and compulsory education to all children of Indian is 6 to 14 years age. In the right of these children is compulsory education. No child shall be held back, explained, or required to pass a board examination until the completion of elementary education. If a child above 6 years of age has not been admitted in any school or could not complete his or her elementary education, then he or she shall be admitted in a class appropriate to his or her age. However, if a case may be where a child is directly admitted in the class appropriate to his or her age, then in order to be at par with others, he or she shall have a right to receive special training within such time limits as may be prescribed, provided further that a child so admitted to elementary education shall be entitled to free education till the completion of elementary education, even after 14 years. Proof of age of the admission for the purpose of admission to elementary education, the age of a child shall be determined on the basis of the birth certificate issued in accordance with the provision of birth, death, and marriage registration Act 1856, or on the basis of such other documents as may be prescribed. No child shall be denied admission in a school for lack of age proof. A child who completes elementary education shall be awarded a certificate. Call need to be taken for a fixed student-teacher ratio. 25% reservation for economically disadvantaged communities in admission to class first in all private schools is to be done. Improvement in the quality of education is important. School teachers will need educate professional degree within 5 years or else will lose job. School infrastructure, where there is a possible need to be improved in every 3 years, else recognition will be cancelled. And the last, final, financial burden will be shared between the state and the central government. And the next right is right to work family life just in favorable conditions of work, reasonable working hours. This is the right to just and favorable conditions of work. The state parties to the present convent recognize the right of everyone to the enjoyment of just and favorable condition of work, and which ensure in particular, first of all, remuneration which provide all workers as a minimum with fair wages and equal remuneration for work of equal value without distinction of any kind, in particular, women being guaranteed conditions of work not interfere to those enjoyed by men, with equal pay for equal work. This is the right for work, family life, and just favorable conditions, a decent living for themselves and their families, are accordance with the provisions of the present convent. Safe and healthy working conditions and equal opportunity for everyone to be promoted in his employment to an appropriate higher level, subject to no considerations other than those of seniority and competence. And next, rest, leisures, and reasonable limitation of working hour and periodic holidays with pay, as well as remuneration for public holidays. And next, rights is right to water and sanitization. This is the right of human right to water and sanitation. Access to water and sanitation are recognized by the United Nations as human rights, reflecting the fundamental nature of these basic in every person's life. Lack of access to safe, sufficient, and affordable water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities has a devastating effect on the health, dignity, and prosperity of billions of people, and has significant consequences for the realization of other human rights. People are rights holders and states are duty bearers of providing water and sanitation services. Rights holders can claim their rights, and duty bearers must guarantee the rights to water and sanitation equally and without discrimination. These are the human rights and show the gender equality in this picture. And next start is gender equity. Gender equity is the concept of gender equity refers to fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. This may include equal treatment or treatment that is different but which is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. Gender equity is used, for example, within the education, health, and humanitarian sectors, referring to the equal distribution of resources based on the needs to different groups of people. And next is what is the difference between the gender equality and gender equity. It is a formal type of equality, and gender equity is a substantive equality. It assumes gender equality. It assumes that once barriers to participation are removed, both males and females have a level playing field. And next is equity. It moves beyond mere equality of opportunity and provides transformative change. And next is gender equality does not recognize that a woman's experience and reality is different from a man's experience and reality. And equity is gender equity recognize that men and women have different needs and interests according to their experience and reality. And next is it is the goal. Gender equality is the goal, and the equity it is the means towards the goal. This is the difference between the gender equality and gender equity. And next is equality is giving everyone a shoes. And equity is giving everyone a shoe that fit. This is the very important thing, and quality and equity given everyone a shoe. And next is gender equality. Equality between man and woman does not mean that woman and man have to become the same, but that their rights, responsibility, and opportunity will not depend on whether they are born male or female. Gender equity means fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. And next Gender equity means fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. This may include e- equal treatment or treatment that is different but which is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. And next is the gender equity and equality. While the goal of treating everyone the same may seem noble, the principle of equal treatment tends to ignore the fact that people differ in their capacities, inter- interests, resources, and experiences. And next, experiences the equality focus on creating the same starting line for everyone. And equity has the goal of providing everyone with the full range of opportunities and benefits the same finishing line. This is the main difference between equality and equity. And the next is the gender equality, non discrimination, and women's rights. The concept gender equality is since long established as the preferred wording for equal rights. The life prospects, opportunities, and power for women and men, girls and boys. It is used in all key international agreements, from the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women in 1979 to the Sustainable Development Goals in 215. And next is on the international arena as well as in national context. Gender equality is a concept that is closely connected to the human rights agenda. It is also used to label the goal in the struggle for women's rights, led by the women's movement all over the world. And this gender equality is a concept with transformative connotations covering women's empowerment, non discrimination, and equal rights regardless of gender. It embraces a multi-dimensional and intersectional view on inequalities between women and men, girls and boys. It points towards change of gender-based power relations in all sectors of society, private as well as public. And next is gender equity, fairness and justice regarding benefits and needs. Gender equity put the focus on fairness and justice regarding benefits and needs for women, men, girls, and boys. Equity is used, for example, within the education, health, and humanitarian sectors, referring to the equal distribution of resources based on the needs of different groups of people. Gender equity in this context refer to the fact that a gender analysis of these needs is necessary, as they, in many respects, may be different for women and men, boys and girls. And however, the concept gender equity is also used to detect gender equality from the human rights agenda and avoid talking about women and girls' human rights. It has been picked up by conservative actors who emphasize the complementarity of women and men, talk about separate but equal, and go far in arguing for biologically given roles and obligations for women and men in society. These are the gender equity and equality. At the end, some question about gender equality and equity. The first question is, what is the mean by gender? First of all, what is the mean by gender? The term gender refers to the economic, social, and cultural attributes and opportunities associated with being male or female. In most socialized, being a man or a woman is not simply a matter of different biological and physical characteristics. Man and woman face different expectations about how they should dress, behave on, or work. Relations between man and woman, whether in the family or workplace or the public sphere, also reflect understanding of the talents, characteristics, and behavior appropriate to women and the man. Gender thus differs from sex in that it is social and cultural in nature rather than biological. Gender attribute and characteristics encompassing inter alia the roles that man and woman play and the expectations placed upon them vary widely among social ties and change over time. But the fact that gender attributes are socially constructed means that they are also amenable to change in ways that can make a society more just and equitable. And the next question is in our mind, what is the difference between gender equity, gender equality, and women's empowerment? These are the gender equity is the process of being fair to women and men. To ensure fairness, strategies and measures must often to be available to competent state for women's historical and social disadvantages that prevent women and men from otherwise operating on level playing field. Equity leads to equality. Gender equality require equal enjoyment for women and men for socially valued goods, opportunities, resources, and rewards. Where gender equity inequality exists, it is generally women who are excluded and disadvantaged in relation to decision making and access to economic and social resources. And that is the social. What next is why is it important to take gender concern into account in program design and implementation? Taking gender concerns into account when designing and implementing population and development programs, therefore, is important for two reasons. First, there are differences between the roles of man and woman, differences that demand different approaches. Second, there is systematic equality between man and woman. And the next is the second thing is this pattern and the of inequality is a constraint to the progress of any society because it limits the opportunities of one half of its population. And the next question is what is gender mainstreaming? Gender mainstreaming is a strategy for integrating gender concern in the analyzing, formulation, and monitoring of policies, programs, and projects. It is therefore a meaning to an end, not an end in itself. A process, not a goal. The purpose of gender mainstreaming is to promote gender equality and the empowerment of women in population and development activities. These are the gender mainstreaming is. And last is why is gender equality important? Gender equality is important is where gender equality is intrinsically linked to sustainable development and vital to the realization of human rights for all. And the next is gender equality a concern for men? The achievement of gender equality implies changes for both men and women. More equitable relationship will need to be based on a ready definition of the rights or responsibilities of women and men in all sphere of life, including the family, the workplace, and the society at large. It is therefore crucial not to overlook gender as an aspect of man's social identity. This fact is indeed often overlooked because the tendency is to consider male characteristics and attributes as the norms and those of women as a variation of the norms. This is the answers all the questions, the end of the topic. Some references is there. These are the references you used in this topic. And then at the last of this topic, the multiple choice question is there. And first question is, feminist movements are aimed at liberty, equality, participation, power. Right answer is equality. And next the question is, which of the following divisions is unique to India? Gender division, caste division, economic division, religious division. The answer is caste division. Caste division is the answer of this question. And next question, in local self-government institutions, at least 1/3 of all positions are reserved for men, women, children, and scheduled tribes. The local self-government institution, at least 1/3 of all positions are reserved are women. Woman is the right answer. And next, a woman or a man who believes in equal rights and opportunities for man and woman. Select the correct option for the definition. Feminist, patriarchy, caste hierarchy, social change. The answer is feminist. Feminist, the right answer. Next is Equal Wages Act signifies law that deals with family related matters. Law provides that equal wages should be paid for equal job for both man and woman. And next is an act which signifies that all work inside the home is done by the woman of the family. The radical law against the discriminatory attitude and sexual division of labor. The answer is law provide that equal wages should be paid for equal job for both man and woman is the right answer. And next question is, when we speak of gender divisions, we usually refer to biological difference between man and woman, unequal roles assigned by the society to men and women, unequal child sex ratio, absence of voting rights for women in democracies. What is the answer? Answer is unequal role assigned by the society to man and woman is the right answer. And next question, having the same number of man and woman at all levels within the organization to ensure equal representation and participation in all area is empowerment, gender equity, gender balance, gender role. Answer is gender balance. Which of the following is the cause of gender inequality? Poverty, literacy, particularly all the above? Answer is all the above is the answer. And the next question is renouncing the parties practices derogating the dignity of women is included in fundamental rights, fundamental duties, preamble, directive, principles of state policy. Answer is fundamental duties. This is the answer of this question. And the last question is the progress of being fair to man and woman is gender integration, gender equity, gender stereotypes, gender discrimination. Answer of this question is gender equity. Gender equity is the answer of this question. At the end of this topic, all about of this topic, and lastly is thank you